Breaking news here on the Cowboys Report. Dallas has made yet another trade after they'd kind of hinted at the interest in making another move. The backup quarterback stuff had been mentioned. We'd spent some time with Joe Milton. Now we have to go in depth on Joe Milton. This is the trade the Cowboys made this morning. They have landed Joe Milton from the New England Patriots to take over, we presume, as the backup quarterback, joining Will Grier and Dak Prescott on the roster. The exact pick swap details are not actually known. It is one of the two Cowboys' fifth-round comp picks heading to New England, and one of the three seventh-round picks. I actually assume it's this year. That has not been specified. I assume it's this year. A seventh-round pick going to the Dallas Cowboys. So for the third time this year, the Cowboys do a day 3 pick swap trade to acquire a player and fill a roster spot. Joe Milton is heading over to the Dallas Cowboys. We're doing the on-demand video first. We will get to the remainder of today's live video. We'll have a full live show like we normally do, but I have to change a lot of stuff from what I was going to do today now, so I'm going to need the extra time. I was going to look at Will Levis trade. I was going to do a mock draft. Got to change all that. So we will still be live. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button for more free Cowboys YouTube videos, because when news happens, we break it down for you. The biggest argument, I guess there's two of them really, in favor of Joe Milton. He did play very well in the final game of the season, threw for 241 yards, a touchdown. He had a very strong performance in that final regular season game, which admittedly was against backups, a Bills team that was like kind of trying to not win, and may have cost the Patriots one of the better players or a trade down in the draft, which doesn't really end up mattering there. But Milton played well. He played well in that game. He showcased the traits that he absolutely possesses. It is funny to me to see the Patriots out there saying, we want a third-round pick for Joe Milton. And Milton's, and like they want to send someone where he can start, which is obviously not the case in Dallas. You do a day 3 pick swap, it's a backup, which you didn't have. You get one with, as we'll get into, elite physical traits. Some of the other stuff is still a pretty big concern there, but it's a backup. So grade the trade, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. It is the pinned comment of today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. Look, you can go back and watch our draft coverage. I don't change the draft coverage stuff. I do it all before the picks get made. I was not high on Joe Milton. I had a 6th-round grade on him, which a year later, after being a 6th-round pick, I'm pretty sure it's a 6th-round pick in that class. I'll have to go back and double check. You trade a 5th and you get a 7th back. This is 6th-round pick value. Like that is what you have done with Joe Milton. The promising sides here are intriguing. The upside. This is a huge football player. He's 6'5". He was 246 at his pro day. He has the physical skill set that you want in a quarterback. He's huge. He can run, and he has a massive arm. There's a handful of quarterbacks who have a better arm than Joe Milton. Like, there's not many. The rocket, my player comp, which I wrote down there, was a rocket launcher, but the tracking is broken. Is broken. The consistency, the accuracy, the processing, all of that stuff is simply not there, which was also on display in what was a bad preseason for Joe Milton. That's not a typo. He completed under 40% of his passes. He mostly doesn't turn the ball over. Just when he misses, it's gone. You can cut up a great Joe Milton highlight reel at Tennessee and with the Patriots, be like, wow, this guy is incredible. This guy is a top 5 player in the class. Like the upside, the physical talent is there. He's also older than Trey Lance is. He spent 6 years in college, and my concern coming out was I don't know if it's ever going to all click together. He wasn't actually a great runner in college, despite having the great athletic ability. The down inconsistency isn't there. So if you go in knowing that there's going to be inconsistency, this isn't really that different than the Trey Lance trade. The difference is now you get 3 years of him as your backup QB. He's got bigger size, actually kind of a bigger arm, and you're hoping that you can develop him into more than just the inconsistent flash player he has been over the course of his career. There's a reason why my player comp coming out was Logan Thomas, who, 4th-round pick from Virginia Tech, massive arm, great mobility, ended up moving to tight end. Hopefully, that is not what ends up happening with Joe Milton. The stuff we saw in the final game of the season is why he got traded, by the way. That got them enough back to flip him and get something back. But it is telling he only went for that. Also, as we'll get into in a second, takes you out of a bad quarterback class to have to draft one. Now, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Get in on the sports action with the best place to get real money, sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's available in more than 30 states, California, Texas, Georgia included. Springtime is here. Baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss out on your chance to add your favorite players from the Diamond in your Prize Picks lineups, or do football season-long Prize Picks. I like these 3 less stands, by the way. Lions offense isn't going to be as good. Travis Kelce won't be as heavily with She Rice healthy. He wasn't as involved. And I doubt Jaden Daniels is going to want to run, such Commanders don't want him to run as much this upcoming season. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. The updated depth chart then at the quarterback spot sits as follows. Dak Prescott is quarterback 1, obviously. I'll put Joe Milton in the QB2 spot, although I think he will have to still beat out Will Grier, who I know they like. But the biggest, big picture takeaway here, and I have to redo the mock draft I had cooked up today, this means they are not going to draft a QB. They are not going to spend another draft pick on a QB. They spent one of their 5th rounders on the spot. So you can cross off Will Howard. They were bringing in Quinn Ewers for a visit. Maybe they adjust their game plan there. Maybe they bring him in anyway. But I think this in a QB class that I genuinely just do not like, this takes you out of having to reach for somebody. Or that even maybe the worst downside of the guys you do like, if you have 1 or 2, end up going off the board and you're kind of stuck with, we don't like this very much. And you're also technically paying less money with the trade. You're not going to have to pay Joe Milton as much because some of the limited signing bonus stuff ends up going off the board. There's no guaranteed money. It's I think, actually a pretty decent pivot for the Cowboys at backup QB with the upside that you're aiming for. So give me your 1-word reaction to the trade for Joe Milton. Good, bad, surprise, indifferent? Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Some final thoughts here, wrap-up thoughts. Again, maybe not a fun fact because this is how young Trey Lance is. Joe Milton is older than Trey Lance. He's also like the same age as Tyler Shuck is, so doesn't really change anything there. This is a physically gifted quarterback with great arm. He can run, and inconsistencies as a passer. This is not somebody who is set to take over the starting quarterback role this year. That's not what the assets they gave up for. That's why when it was announced trade, I'm like, just be for the 5. I think that was about the right value for Joe Milton, given what we saw in the preseason, the regular season, his value coming out of the NFL draft. So the 5, a late 5 for a TBD pick swap in the 7th. Again, Patriots have 3 7th-round picks. I've still not seen the exact details as of filming. And then the Cowboys have 2 5ths, could be either 171 or 174. So they actually keep their earlier 5th in this particular trade. They get their backup QB and allows them to not have to take a Quinn Ewers, who I am also not necessarily a huge fan of, but it's a 5th. That's not a bad thing at all.